When I decided to open care practice, I was sort of at the end of this very long journey in medicine. And I was at sort of this crossroads in my career of having worked in every healthcare setting imaginable, from a prison and an underserved Medi-Cal clinic to five-star hotels and the pinnacle of concierge medicine where I was traveling with some families. I wanted to find a place that made sense to me outside the system, and I sort of fell in love with this graffitied over storefront in the Mission and decided to make a go of it, and it was really one of those things that people really thought I was crazy to embark on. When I got into medical school in '96, it was a pretty big deal, especially for me, since the last thing most people had heard from me was I had dropped out of school, and I was a dance major, and I was running with a bunch of freaks in New York City. So I went from being, sort of a idiot, like what am I doing with my life, to suddenly everyone thinks I'm smart. It was sort of a funny moment in my life. I made it a lot like I would make an apartment, and kept $5,000 aside as a plan B to put a shower in and make it my apartment if it didn't go right. So we made it a lovely place to be, as I knew that I was going to be spending almost every waking moment here. But I really wanted this place to feel like a home to creative people, because we have patients that come here from New York and LA and Paris and London. And, they don't see a doctor that often, but they oftentimes will make sure they stop here when they travel through. And that's always been a special part of what makes us care practice. One of the main influences that compelled me to do a lot of addiction medicine was first that I felt that addiction was present in any setting I ever encountered in medicine. Whether we care to admit it or not, we are creating addicts as doctors. But another reason was early, towards the end of medical school, a friend had called me who had been addicted to heroin on the East Coast, and he had escaped to California to get away from it. He had told me about OxyContin, and he said, you need to check this out. They've literally made M&Ms filled with China white heroin that you can lick off in seconds. And I had asked him to show me, and I'd come into San Francisco because I was doing residency at UCSF in Sutter in Santa Rosa. And I came in, and he took me to meet some different dealers and brokers and people that were shipping OxyContin around the United States. It was like 3 or 4 people, I think. And I asked them, well, how easy is it to get this substance out? And they proceeded to race, put it in their mouth, lick it off, and then dry it in their t-shirts, and then lay it on the table and crush it up. And they had all done it in less than 10 seconds. And they looked at this white powder, this fine white powder, and they said, this is China white heroin. And that's when I knew we had a very major problem on our hands.
All right, so just I'll see a shattered spine.
So those are OxyContin 80s.
She did.
But did you see what she just did?
Just dumped 5 of them out.
Well, she dumped 5 of them out, but also, like, if you take a pill every day, you put it in the back of your throat, not in the front. So what she did here is this is she's going to chew it.
Ah.
I mean, most likely. But then she's realized she's on camera, and this is, when what we found is, once we started talking about oxys, like, do you chew or snort? Then people would open up and just say, oh, I chew it sometimes or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's like 95%.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that made us so important for the drug companies was that we were one of the few clinics that drew blood from neck veins. And mainly that was just because I couldn't look another person in the face and tell them it's an inconvenience for me to draw your blood, and therefore I can't include you in my study. So therefore I just pushed my margins, and I pushed my ability and learned to do more difficult things, even if it cost me 45 minutes, because that's just, that was important to me. These are the opiates. These are the poppy seeds. You can make poppy seed tea out of them. Apparently, I don't know. These are from patients. These are the things that we really focus on, like heroin, which you make from these. But almost 80% of the people that wind up addicted to heroin or overdosing on heroin actually start out with prescription medications. If I'm really honest in the algorithms of things that I've seen throughout my career, the thing that I've seen is when they get so sick and tired of dealing with doctors and the medical system that they get pissed off and they get angry enough to do something with intention, running away from medicine. That is the most consistent place where people, I would say, the largest percentage get better. People that are diving into medicine and trying to find their answers in pills and doctors. We can be of help, we can be advocates, we can help guide you, but we don't have the answers. And we've created a lot of these problems.